are the Group 2 and we are here to talk about the KKK and the Kartilya ng Katipunan. But before we will proceed to Kartilya ng Katipunan, we will talk first about the KKK or the Kataas-taasang Kagalang-galangang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. In this video, we are going to have an analysis about the Kartilya ng Katipunan in connection to the ideas and aspirations of the Katipuneros that they would like to implement on that time. We will try to understand what are the reasons behind the creation of Katipunan. So just stand by and keep watching in 3, 2, and 1. Is really KKK. So basically, KKK is an acronym which means Kataas-taasan Kagalang-galangang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. This is a secret society established with a purpose of uniting the Filipinos and of course overthrowing the Spanish government that occupied Philippines during the time of the Spanish colonization. Basically, the very aim of the Katipunan is to have an independence and to gain freedom from the Spaniards. Do you know that there are revolutions that happened before the creation of Katipunan, such as revolutions of Gabriela and Diego Silang? These were revolutions that happened against the government of Spain. But what makes the Katipunan different from the previous revolutions? So, there are two reasons for that. The first reason is that the Katipunan wanted unity among all of Filipinos. It aspires to unite the nation in creating huge revolution against the Spain. Second, the Katipunan aspires a total independence from the Spain. So the Katipunan is a secret society that wanted a total separation from the government of Spain, which was not envisioned from the previous revolution. The reason that those previous revolutions just wanted to have equal rights, equal opportunity, and they wanted to have protection from the abuses coming from the friars. Unlike the Katipunan, which really wanted to have a total revelation from the colonization. Now, what are the ideologies that the Katipunan thought? What are the aspirations and values that they taught to their members? To answer that questions, let's move on to the Kartilya ng Katipunan.
And I'm going to discuss the Decalogue of the Duties of the Sons of the People by Andres Bonifacio, the father of Philippine Revolution. So Andres Bonifacio wrote the Decalogue of the Duties of the Sons of People in order to strengthen the Katipunan, and the members had to be disciplined and indoctrinated with the ideals of revolutionary society. So there are 10 rules in the Decalogue of Andres Bonifacio. The first one was love God full-heartedly. The second one was bear always in mind the true love of God is love of country, love which is also true love of man. So based by Andres Bonifacio, our love to our God can also be shown by loving our country. And loving our country is a symbol of loving our people. It's because when we loved our God, nothing is impossible. Just like in our country, many people want some changes in our country. But if we're just sitting here waiting for the president or the senators do the changes, it will not gonna happen. It's because I believe that if we want to change our country, we people must change first. Third one was, bear always in mind that the true measure of honor and of charity is to die to defense of your country. They said that the glorious way of people's death is to die to defend his or her country. It's a great privilege for us as a Filipino to die to defend our country, because not all people have a chance to fight or to defend our country. Yes, we are all afraid to die, but to die to defend our country, it will be a glorious death. And the fourth one was serenity, constancy, reason and faith in whatever act of endeavor, crowned with success with every desire. So the fourth one teach us that we should have positivity so that when we do things, we can expect successful outcomes. With the right mind, right intention, and positive attitude, we can be successful in doing things what we want to do. Just be calm and don't be in rush, and remember to think twice and act twice in doing things. Fifth one, and it was guard as you would your honor the mandates and aims of KKK. Yes, we should give honor to KKK, the kataas-taasang kagalang-galang katipunan ng anak ng bayan, because without this revolution, we would not be freed against Spaniards and be still their slaves. The main objectives of this revolution was to separate our country against Spain and to teach Filipinos good manners, fine morals, and guard themselves against religious fanaticism. This revolution was all about our freedom against Spaniards, and we should give honor and give value as we celebrate our freedom against Spaniards. For the rule number 6, it says that it is incumbent on all that he who runs a serious risk in complying with his duties should be protected at the sacrifice of life and in riches. If you hold a certain position, you must keep that position dignified by taking responsibilities of your duties whatever it takes, just like our nurses and doctors. Now that we're facing this pandemic, many nurses and doctors are helping us to be safe by taking care of us. They are taking a risk in helping us even if there's a high possibility that they can get infected. We Filipinos are known for being helpful even if our life is at risk. We would help in any way we can just to help someone that are in need even if our life is at risk. And it states here that let the achievement of each, either in self-control or in compliance with duty, be an example to his fellow. It says here that we should not get envy to the achievements of our fellow. Instead, we should admire and serve them as our inspiration to become better person in life. Rule, and it says here that help the limit of your endurance. Share your wealth with the needy or unfortunate. They said that sharing is caring. We should give to those who are in need and help to those unfortunate, because the blessings that we receive are meant to be shared. And also we cannot bring our wealth and fortune when we die. So why we should not share them to those people who are in need and to those people who are unfortunate? Because ninth rule, the diligence in your daily work to earn a living is the true expression of love and affection for yourself, for your wife, for your child, for your brother, and for your countrymen. The diligence on how you work hard to earn a living is a way to show how much you love your family. We as students, we are studying and working hard just to reach our goals to have a brighter future, not just for us but also for our family. Last decalogue, which is believe in the chastisement of the perverse and in the reward of all good work. Believe also that the aims of KKK are also the gifts of God, for the hopes of the country are also the hopes of God. Believe that there's a punishment in every traitor, and reward to all your good works. Believes that the aim of KKK was the gifts of God and the hope of God. God's hope was us to be saved, and everything that happens to us was His will. We just need to believe and trust in Him, and everything will be glorious. Now we are done.
Good day, everyone. I am Lizel May Kumahist, and this time, let's tackle about the teaching of the Katipunan, or the Katipunan Code of Conduct by Emilio Jacinto from Teodoro Agoncillo's Revolt of the Masses. So, the teaching of the Katipunan was categorizing into 14 stanza. So now, what are we waiting for? Let's start. So, life which I not consecrated to a lofty and sacred cause is like a tree without a shadow, if not a poisonous weed. So for me, we have our different purposes in life. Others are difficult in life, and may others are simply easy. But the most important thing is that we should do them no matter what the reason is. Because if we don't, our life could be put to nonsense. Right? So now let's go to the second stanza. A good deed that springs from a desire for personal profit and not from a desire to do good is not kindness. Yes, definitely. For me, it doesn't matter how many times you help others. Because if you did with an insincere heart, it can't be called a virtue. Right? So now let's go to the third stanza. True greatness consists in being charitable, in loving one's fellow men, and in adjusting every movement, deed, and word to true reason. So, if I'm going to explain that, charity is what we do to help others, right? But if you do it for your own purpose, then it can be called a virtue, regardless of what you give to others. So now let's go through on the fourth stanza. All men are equal, be the color of their skin black or either white. One may be superior to another in knowledge, wealth, and beauty, but cannot be superior in being. So in that stanza, for me, charity is what we do to help others. But if you do it for your own purpose, then it can be called a virtue, regardless of what you give to others. Right? So now let's go to the fifth stanza. It was stated right there that he who is noble prefers honors to personal gains. He who is mean prefers personal profit to honor. So, based on my understanding, only the truth will set you free. Right? Let's go to the sixth stanza. To a man with a sense of shame, his word is inviolate. So in a short word, true to his words. So we already know what delicadeza means, right? So delicadeza, it is a Spanish trait that we inherited. So it was a trait that has the definition of shame. So at this point, teaching is that if you have a shame, keep your promises, because if you won't keep them, you are shameless. So now let's move on to the seventh stanza. Don't fritter away time. Lost riches may be recovered, but time lost will never come again. So, it means time is gold, right? Others says, which is true, but I don't really believe that opportunities that passed by may come again. Right? So, things may happen once like time. So, we should value every second that we spend our lives. So, stanza. So, in the eighth stanza, it was stated right there that defend the oppressed and fight the oppressor. So, in a short word, doing what is right. So it means it was like defend your country and fight for it. It's conquer, right? So now let's move on to the 9th stanza. It was stated right there that an intelligent man is he who is cautious in speech and knows how to how to keep the secrets that must be guarded. So it means an intelligent person speaks diligently, but he also knows when to keep his mouth shut. This means that even a person who's so very intelligent is honest. 10th stanza. On the 10th stanza, it was stated right there that in the thorny path of life, man is the guide of his wife and children. So, if he who guides moves towards evil, they who are guided likewise move toward evil. So it means this was like a bottle of a little water inside. So it follows where the gravity pulls the water. So anywhere as long as their leader is concerned. So now let's move on to the 11th stanza. So it was stated that think not of a woman as a thing merely to while away time with, but as a helper and a partner in the hardships of life. Respect her and her weaknesses. And remember the mother who brought you into his world and who cared for you in your childhood. So it means women meant to be loved, not for pleasure, right? So we as a women, not for pleasure. So if you can't value one, then you don't deserve to love, right? So value other women as you value your man. So now let's move on. Let's go to the 12th stanza. Stated that what you don't want done to your wife, daughter, and sister, do not do to the wife, daughter, and sister of another. So simply means don't do to others what you don't want to be done unto you. So it's just like a mirror, right? Have you seen a mirror? So what you do to yourself while looking in the mirror will reflect and will be shown in the mirror too. So now let's proceed to the 13th stanza. The nobility of a man does not consist in being a king, nor in the highness of the nose and the whiteness of the skin, nor in being a priest representing God. 14th stanza stated that, but pure and truly noble is he who, though born in the woods, is possessed of an upright character, who is true to his words, who has dignity and honor, who does not oppress and does not help those who are oppressed, who knows how to look after and love the land of his birth. So, it will simply means that everyone was made by God equally. Yes, we are made equally by God. So, no matter what your position is, your personality is, or whatever, the only thing is that is highly appreciated by others especially by God. So on the last stanza, it was stated that when these doctrines spread and the sun of beloved liberty shines with brilliant effulgence in these unhappy isles and shed its soft rays upon the united people and the brothers in everlasting happiness, the lives, labors, and sufferings of those who are gone shall be more than recompense. And that would be all. Thank you.
To sum up everything, why Kartilya ng Katipunan is important. The Kartilya by Emilio Jacinto serve as a guide for the rules and principles of the Katipunan, to be read and strictly followed by its new members. The leader of the Katipunan, Andres Bonifacio, also created his own revised version, which is Decalogue. What are the importance of Kikiki and the Kartilya ng Katipunan? The Kikiki is the one who took the lead on the revolution in 1898. The Kartilya ng Katipunan is where their news and laws are printed kept by Gregoria de Jesus, who is the spouse of Andres Bonifacio. A cartilla of Katipunan made by the Emilio Jacinto, it is ideas about the ethical, to codes important values that must embody by every Katipunero who is willing to join the Katipunan for the revolution, and anyone who disobeys will be punished based on their violation. It is containing code of conduct made by our heroes who fought for the independence of the Philippines against the Spanish colonizations. There are five things we need to consider in the contribution and the relevance of Kartilya ng Katipunan. First is, ever since, we Filipinos always incorporates our moral and values in every situations. We made it in order to have people and guidelines for the members and also to fire up their righteousness. In Kartilya of Katipunan, the relevancy of it is shaped the mind of Filipino to love their country and evaluate their self. We can see in that document that it is full of values, but also it touches self-reflections of anyone who read it. This value will lead the Katipuneros in the right path. The second is, this document explains how the Filipinos came together to form a community or group to fight the Spaniards. Because the Filipino are united, they will continue to fight the colonizers to liberate the land, even if the cost is high. Also for those who give their lives for our country, independence. The third is, this explains why we are Filipino then there are intellectual revolution with a common sense who fight the justice and good services. We would not be able to inherit the bravery and courage of real Filipinos without them. The fourth is, the Kartilya of Katipunan shows self-reflections and virtues that every Katipunero must embody. This tells us that we should live on a right path. Living on a right path affects the people by being a role model. The fifth is, this implies that whether you have a light skin or copper skin, we are all equal. Nowadays, people tend to praise light skin because they are appealing, but one thing we should learn about the Kartilya of Katipunan, we should not put ourselves by physical appearance or adapt the costume of Western. Instead, we work of ourselves to be better love ourselves. We should not stand up and show actions that resembles love for country. Three reasons why the Kartilya ng Katipunan is important to the grand narrative Philippine history. First, it lays the foundation for the way the Filipinos think in general. Many of the ideas in Kartilya can also be applied today to our daily personal life and to the life of the country at present. The second reason is text is one of the few texts recorded around the time. It allows us to have a glimpse of the ideas of Katipunan and its members today. This allows us to learn more about our goal. The third reason is it's also encouraged the participation of the masses to join the revolutions and bring a sense of nationalism into the practice in any form whatsoever. This leads to the independence of the Philippines. What's the impact of Kartilya of Katipunan by Emilio Jacinto to today's society? It serves as guidance to the everyday living of the people, but sad to say, this is not anymore the essence of the Kartilya due to the change of the society. Behavior also known as social change. And that's all for today. Thank you.